there's part of us that is incapable of providing specific things that our children need. And we have to be humble enough to allow someone else to do that, to be a part of that anyway. And it's not co-parenting. It's nowhere in that ballpark, but just to be humble enough to send pictures and to have open conversations. We FaceTime. We met with Nora's birth mother for the first time recently, within the year, and just to give everybody involved that opportunity to hug each other's necks and just talk about how, oh, I can see this person in you, and to know as parents kind of the explanation behind certain things that our daughter does or says, or tendencies that she's had. It's an important piece that we would be robbing our child of if we didn't allow them access. So as much as it's in our power, we will always be open with Nora and her biological family.
Yeah. I'd say so difficult to do, to maintain, not in the sense of like communication wise, but emotionally, it's really difficult to maintain, but so worth it. It is so worth it. I would tell everybody, if it's possible, keep as open a relationship as you can with their bio family. We have graciously, the Lord has given us a super sweet relationship with her bio mom, and it has been easy. Now, at the beginning, it would have been really easy for me just not to text her, not to reach out, not to do any of those things, because I had to find her number, find her on Facebook. I think I could have ignored it and been like, oh, I guess she just doesn't want to communicate with me. I guess she doesn't want a relationship with us. I was very persistent about reaching out to her and giving her opportunities to communicate with me. And it was really hard because I feel people's I take them upon myself. So like, if you're feeling sad, I am so sad with you. Like, and it is hard to bear that burden. And so with her bio mom, I was like, I don't want to reach out and make her sad or question her decision, or her be whatever, A, B, and C. So I had to stop myself from feeling those things and let her have the opportunity to make those decisions for herself. And it, like I said, it took a lot of persistence, but we have such a sweet relationship now that I feel like when we met again after 5 years of not seeing each other, it was just like a unique relationship that, I don't know, the bond I feel with her is incredible, I guess is what I would say. And also it was so good for Nora to met them. She had talked about them nonstop up until that point. And when she met them, she got to fulfill all her fantasies or her dreams about what this was going to be like. And she hasn't really mentioned it since then. Not that she doesn't want to continue a relationship with it. It's like, oh, I've thought about this. I've dreamed about this. I finally got to meet them. And then, okay, like I can kind of not move on, but I can live my life knowing what this relationship is going to be like, because I've got to actually have it.
Right. And she talks about them as if they are our family.
Yes.
When we say you have a sister, she says, well, I have 2 sisters and I have a brother.
Yeah.
And she just adds those people to our family. But I think the perspective for me is that our greatest joy can be someone else's greatest trauma. And so as adoptive parents, to hoard that joy and to perpetuate that trauma, I think is the antithesis of the gospel, right? And so for us to be humble enough to allow them into our joy and to also step into their trauma at the same time, is just, you have to have that perspective as an adoptive parent, or it's just going to be extremely difficult for you. And it's going to be extremely difficult either way.
Yeah.
But I think it's irresponsible to just keep that joy to yourself.
Oh my goodness, that was good. That was really good, because I feel like at the beginning of our adoption, just carried that trauma on myself all the time. I was like, oh my goodness, we did this to somebody. Like, even though that was her decision to make, I bared that burden for so long. And I really, really, really had to ask the Lord for wisdom in lots of different areas. Whenever I had a question about there, for the longest time, I was so sad that Nora wouldn't look like me. And he was like, that's not the goal. The Lord was like, that's not the goal. The goal is for her to look like me, for her to look like Jesus. And I was like, oh, thank you, Lord, for that nugget that gets me past that burden I was bearing for so long. And he just provided so much wisdom when I needed it for me to move past the burden of trauma that I was bearing, that I kind of, the floodgate that opened whenever we stepped into, we shared that trauma with her bio family.